Hello, it's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Brenda Rather Holman. Ms. Holman is a 2024 candidate for the Nottoway Revenue Revenue Commissioner's Office. Let's hear what Ms. Holman has to say.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brenda Rather Holman, and I'm running for the Office of Commissioner of Revenue for the County of Nottoway. I'm here to let you know a little bit more about myself, as well as to ask for your vote on November the 7th, 2023. Early voting has started, and I'm hoping that I've already received several votes. I'm a county native. I graduated from Nottoway Senior High School. I live in Nottoway on Jenningstown Road. I attended um, St. Paul's College. I received my degree from there in political science. I've always wanted to, I guess, be a part of the political arena, but I didn't build myself up enough or encourage myself enough. It was always a what if or what if. But I did hang around in the in the county, and I've put a lot of service into the county in various other areas. I've taught for the school system in Nottoway County. I've worked for the Nottoway County Head Start program. I worked recently, well, years ago at Nottoway Social Services. Um, and currently I am at Fort Barfoot with secret clearance in the Mail Operations Department and under the Virginia Information Technology with the Department of Military Affairs. I'm married, I have two children, and I want to be a part of the county and more active by bringing awareness to me, the community, the citizens, and mostly the generations to follow to help them better understand and be more aware so that that awareness will make them participate because as my theme goes, citizen awareness and participation is what's going to keep this county flourishing.
Ms. Holman, if you are elected, what are the responsibilities of the Nottoway County Commissioner of Revenue?
The Commissioner of Revenue is responsible for following the Virginia Code and making sure that the tax assessments are fair and the citizens have an appeal process and informing the citizens. But the Commissioner of Revenue just cannot make the terms. They're use their taxes. The tax code is implemented by the Commissioner of Revenue, who in turn works with the Treasurer's Office to perpetrate that information for the tax bill. The Commissioner makes sure there's equal and fair assessment. The assessment is usually handled headed by the Board of Supervisors, who, if I'm not mistaken, bring in an assessment team.
Ms. Holman, thank you for clarifying the responsibilities of the individual offices. Um, if you're elected, what is could you name some of the challenges you expect?
Well, one of the challenges I see is revenue. Um, you want to keep the citizens' taxes fair. You want their value to be worth the value, their property to be worth and assess the value at the same time. You don't want their taxes to go through the roof. But at the current, without other sources of revenue, I'm afraid that the taxes may go up, but again, that is not at the direction of the Commissioner of Revenue's office. That is set by the Board of Supervisors.
Ms. Holman, could you explain exactly what goes into an individual's tax bill?
It's a combination. It's the assessment team, and it's also on the based on the Virginia tax code. The type of property is it's various different entities that go into that value of the property, which is then sent over to the treasurer's office, who will generate if you get a discount, but the Commissioner of Revenue generates what that value is worth, and according to the tax code, you get the bill for it from the treasurer's office.
Okay, so the commissioner's office calculates my tax bill. They give that calculation to the treasurer's office. The treasurer makes me a bill and sends me the bill.
Right.
What if I do not agree with that bill?
They follow if I'm understanding it correctly, they um, follow the appeal process that is through the Commissioner of Revenue's office. But you can call the commissioner and let the commissioner know that you have questions, and then the commissioner will bring you in and let you know how it was, what was charged, and go over it. And but you are allowed an appeal process.
Ms. Holman, you seem to take a lot of time, extra time, to explain the duties and the requirements of the office. Do you think this is important to the citizens of Nottoway, that they have a better understanding of what happens with the Commissioner of Revenue?
Yes, to bring more citizens awareness, because a lot of the citizens don't really understand the office. They don't understand what this form is for. They don't understand why I can't take care of it here. And before they can get an answer, they're frustrated. Now, granted, the people down in the offices are trying to help them. It's just that they're directing them to where they don't understand. Well, why do I have to go here? And I think with the citizens' awareness and more transparency, they will understand more how important the Commissioner of Revenue is for their livelihood, and how they can stay on top of their value, making sure they're receiving the credit for the proper credit at the proper value, making sure that they're paying this revenue in the county, and making sure that they understand and they're just not following the flow. It has to be paid by December the 5th. But why? Where is it going? What happens? You telling me this, where is it coming from? And with that, it will trickle down and make you see more how the government flow. In order to do that, have to make it available to people. Availability is another goal. And when I say available, to everyone, not just people that can get there on certain days, uh, people that, not for people that can drive, or people that can send people for them, but for everyone. And that means integrating technology, opening it up maybe once in a while on a Saturday for those people who work the same hours as the office is open, to handle things. Going out to those handicapped and disabled, you don't have to go in their homes, but you can leave it in their mail receptacle. Give them a date, come back, pick it up for them, call them, and just inclusion. And by being included, feeling included, they'll have more input. They'll start attending more meetings. They'll start telling their representatives what they want, instead of thinking that they just hearing it, or guessing about it. And then they're going to realize that it's not about this party or that party or this or that. It's about, hey, if you want Nottoway County here prosperous, not just here, but being prosperous and not being run solely on revenue of the backs and the taxes of the working people, we have got to get the citizens involved from the eldest to the youngest through voting age, whether that incorporates our schools, different online events, but that's gonna have to happen because unless everyone's planning on living forever, we're gonna have to include everyone and bring citizens awareness.
Ms. Holman, from your comments and everything, uh, I guess the office you're seeking is an elected position, but from your comments, it seems that you're not too heavy into the partisanship, the especially like the hyper partisanship that seems to be gripping Nottoway County at the time, especially for this upcoming election. How do you? I mean, how is your campaign going, considering some of the negativity that seems to flow through Nottoway County at this time?
Well, it's been positive with all days. There are some low days, some good days. Um, my campaign, I would say it's where it should be. The awareness is out there. My name is out there. I don't have as many quote signs as everyone else, but it's out there that I'm running. The awareness is out there. This is serious. I'm serious. This is something that I want. I may not have been uh, on your road or at your door, but I have been out there. I may not have given you paraphernalia with my name on it, but it's not because I lack the wanting power or I'm the enthusiasm for the job. It's because I'm doing the grassroots, getting it out there by any means necessary, which is why this interview, I am just so thankful and grateful for it. And again, I ask you, if you want to know about me, pick up the yearbooks at Nottoway Senior High School. Ask around. I'm known in the community. I've helped a lot of people. I was out. I've helped distributed food with the Feed More program with the Methodist Church in Blackstone during the COVID year. I helped with the Jennerstown Youth Club. Uh, so, uh, so I'm just asking you to vote. I'm asking you to vote Brenda Rather Holman for moving ahead, change, and inclusion, and just something different. You know how it's been for 15 years. See what's over the horizon. And we can do this. We can make, we can't lose. Like my slogan says, together there's not a way we can lose.
Okay, Ms. Holman, you kind of mentioned a length of time for the last 15 years. I guess you were talking about the perhaps the length of time that the current Commissioner of Revenue has been in office. Um, if your plans work out and the residents of Nottoway decide to elect you, uh, basically, I guess, for to bring in the change that you're talking about, what's the first things that you what's the first things you want to change about the office?
The first thing I would like to do immediately is just go in and take a look around before the incumbent leaves up, see how the operation is currently set up, uh, why it's set up that way, what works, what hasn't worked, and that, and then at that time, I will decide if changes need to be implemented, or if the changes that were implemented need a little longer time to come to fruition, or I'll make a determination at that time.
It seems you've done a lot of personal research in your quest for this office. Is there anything like material or physical things that you would like to change right away?
Yeah. Yes. For instance, the technology. I know there's a problem with the budget, but there's not a problem with asking every time I go to that meeting and letting them know this is what I need, and things like that. I just, I've gone over uh, nearly a year worth of minutes and notes, familiarizing with things I could keep going. And I may be mistaken, but I've not seen a formal request for updating the office with any type of technology. And I probably will be uh, definitely asking for that.
Nottoway County almost seems to be allergic to change. Why is, in your opinion, why is this technology upgrade so important to the Commissioner of Revenue's office?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. And there are ways, I have some background on grant writing, but there are ways of just looking into it. Basically, the way that you used to get your technology was budget. You had more revenue. You still got revenue, not as much, but you still need these things. And it appears that it's not a priority because there are other priorities. So we got to get together and get ways, because it has to. It's not maybe. This is a change that's going to happen, and we're either going to be with it and on it, with a lot of citizens being prosperous in Nottoway, or we're just going to be in the middle of something we know absolutely nothing about, and it's going to cost 10 times more to catch up.
Miss Holman, considering the, I hate to say it, but considering the current political atmosphere in Nottoway County and things that have occurred across the country, a lot of times when people that are of a certain political, I guess, ilk are unseated and new people come in, they obstruct and delay the new person coming in, trying to, instead of trying to help them get off to a running start for the good of not only the person that beat them, but for the good of the people in the county, which that should be the bottom concern for anyone in the office, leaving or coming in. But is there anything in writing? Is there any guideline or state regulation that the Commissioner of Revenue has to, the outgoing Commissioner of Revenue has to give an accurate turnover to the incoming Commissioner of Revenue?
Well, now that I have not looked into, but I will do that the first thing and put on my Facebook the answer. But I have not run across that information in my various readings, but I will definitely find that out. Thank you for bringing that piece of enlightenment to me.
From everything you've said, Ms. Holman, it appears that a good turnover, if you're elected from the outgoing to you as the incoming, is key not to your success, but for you to start out, I guess, on the path that you chose.
Oh, definitely. To see what's there, what's in the making, what is just been completed, what's definitely the accountables will definitely be gone over with a fine-tooth comb prior to the incumbent releasing the entire office. What's part, what's in writing and part of the state mandate for the office is the current commissioner must turn over, and it has the document, specific documents, in a timely manner and answer questions. It does not have the word term full audit, but there are laws in the Virginia Constitution, and where the current incumbent, whoever leaves the office, must supply specific information to the incumbent in a timely manner. There is deadlines for that.
If you win, are you ready for the unexpected
I
and just in
understand, and
case
and
it
that
happens?
everyone has the right to not share uh, their knowledge, but if it's for, you have to ask yourself, and this is where that integrity and honesty you asked me about comes in. You've been there for 15 years because the time has ended. Will you throw integrity and honesty and everything you have that you have built up for this county away because of that? And that's the question. And hopefully, the citizens and the people in Nottoway don't feel like that. I know it's a lot going on, and I hear it. I hear the chatter, but when you pull all of that away and all of this in front of my friends, I'm here and this and that. That's when that integrity and honesty comes in. What are you really doing it for? Was the last 15 years for your betterment, regardless? Or was it for, I've invested 15 years for this county because I'm no longer the incumbent? Am I going to throw it away along with the county? Or I'm going to continue to work so that what I stood for 15 years will continue to blossom? That's the way I look at it.
Ms. Holman, if you get this job, how much of it is going to be about you, and
It,
how
it
much of it is going to be
when it's
about
about
Nottoway
me, it
County?
is about me because I want to live here prosperously. I want my property and things assessed. I want to know about it in a timely manner so there won't be any penalties. I want to know that, hey, this is going up. I want to know these things just as a citizen because I plan on living and retiring. And to do that, I don't want it to just be the revenue that I'm working for and paying. There has to be new forms of revenue other than just the taxes and people homes, because I'm working towards this so that I could have a enjoyable retirement without having to spend all of my money on revenue to keep a county going that doesn't want to pull itself together to keep its own self going.
Basically, due to the current economy, there has been a push across the nation recently to eliminate all personal property taxes for people over 65. That's a personal interest to me. How do you feel on this subject, Ms. Holman?
All over the yeah, there is that push for that. I will be honest with you. In my opinion, when you reach the age of 65, you have committed, if it's nothing for to push your personal property taxes away for 65. You've been paying them. It doesn't appear at 65 that you're going to be adding $1 million worth of property at 65. In my opinion, most people are settled, or the property is either going to depreciate if you're not adding over the years. So why keep billing and me, in my opinion, beating a dead horse?
Okay, we all know that Nottoway County only has about 13,000 people, and a large portion of the tax base is in the 50, 65 uh, age range. So wouldn't that be difficult? Wouldn't it be difficult to implement this? Wouldn't that be really hard to do?
Base very hard because it takes you back to forms of revenue in the county. That takes you, it's going to be very, very hard, because if that is one of your biggest forms of revenue, then unless there's a replacement and you're talking about upgrading other departments, that's going to be very hard to implement. It may be very hard to bring up for a vote in order to implement.
As much as I don't know, Nottoway County administration seems to reject change or uh, try to slow down change. It seems that change is inevitable. Blackstone is perhaps the only township within Nottoway County that seems to have a chance of surviving to, say, 2050. Burkeville and Crew are pretty much on their way out as independent townships. And there seems to be a groundswell forming for Nottoway to do like Chesterfield County and become, say, a countywide administration. If that happens, Ms. Holman, how would that impact the Commissioner of Revenue office?
I think it will create an increase in the workload. You're saying if it expanded like Chesterfield, Blackstone. Yes, it will create more jobs because you would have to have more help in the office as far as the two clerks that are helping now. So it will increase more jobs, and that will tell us the revenue will increase, and that may have an impact on the tax code with the Board of Supervisors to either stay the same. I know they won't, they may not lower it, but to keep it from rising, which would keep property taxes down. The more people here, the home values, the land, the taxes, all of that will play a bigger part in the revenue.
So when we've referenced and talked about change, and change seems to be a dirty word in Nottoway County, but from this interview and what I've heard about your campaign, change is adamant, is a personal priority for you. Why is change so important?
The technology has changed, and it appears that everything is changing except the way we do things. This is how it has always happened. This is what we need. We need these type to do this. We need this person to do that. When basically it can be done, it may be done better, it may be done more efficiently, but you will never know if you do not come outside that box and think outside that box. It's just going to just keep you in there, and eventually it depending on the material, it's just gonna be gone.
Well, Ms. Holman, being a former resident of Nottoway County, and you being a lifelong resident of Nottoway County, we both know there's been periods where the integrity and the transparency of Nottoway County administration has come into question, and I mean in a bad light. Um, as of now, right now, can you give us a short synopsis of what you think is the major problem with Nottoway County administration?
Exactly. It's as if uh, take the responsibility, take care of the problem, and move on and move forward for everyone. It's the name blaming didn't work. Whatever the problem is, and that's why I come back to citizen involvement and inclusion. Half the things that are being blown up. Citizen awareness was not a key part of it because maybe with the voices or how citizens felt were known instead of to just a group of people assuming things could be different. You know, my biggest thing is we want a grocery store in the town of Crewe. There are ways, you know, what are those ways? Who do we need to bring to the table? Who's making these types of decisions? We're an incorporated facility. Why can't we have a place to get clean, good food at a reasonable price as a supermarket? I understand that. Whatever the minds need to be to get it together, get it together. Why I'm trying to be that small part to start. Let's work together and look for the big picture of what. We're not looking at who's at the top of the umbrella. We're looking at how everyone underneath that umbrella can prosper and enjoy the same thing equally. Some of us cannot go to Richmond to shop. Some of us cannot go a lot of places or order food and have it, you know, delivered. It's just, I think that the county, some parts of the county are being left out of history. If they, you know, and when I say being left out of history, it's sooner or later, it's not going to remain the same. It's either going to get better or it's going to get worse. And where are we now? Is it tending towards getting better, which means we're working together? We're going to put whatever the reason is for not working together behind, or is it going to get worse because we're still pulling, not accepting our part or being responsible for what's happening? Because until you accept it and take responsibility, you won't ever move forward positive.